Happy holidays, and welcome to Billy's VHS Tape Holiday Special. Today we're reviewing 1990's Christmas classic, Home Alone. The movie that asked the question, can a kid play the lead role in a movie? The answer is yes. This movie blew up when it came out, catapulting Macaulay Culkin's career. Let's do some fun facts. The movie was written by film legend John Hughes, who had previously cast Macaulay Culkin in Uncle Buck, starring John Candy. He came up with the idea while he was packing for vacation. He was making a list of all the things that he needed to bring along with him, and he suddenly had the thought, what if I accidentally left my 10-year-old son at home? What would I do? Suddenly, he had the idea about a child being home alone and defending his house from robbers. The movie stars Macaulay Culkin, Joe Pesci, Daniel Stern, and Catherine O'Hara. The movie cost $18 million to make, and it brought in over $476 million at the box office. And up until 2011, Home Alone held the record for the highest-grossing live-action comedy, until it was beat out by The Hangover Part 2. The movie was directed by Chris Columbus, who originally was supposed to direct Christmas Vacation, but after he clashed with Chevy Chase, he decided to leave the project. John Candy spent 23 hours straight on set filming all of his scenes back-to-back. He did the movie as a favor to John Hughes and was paid very little, so he was allowed to improvise all of his scenes. Most of the movie was filmed on a soundstage in an abandoned gym at a high school in Chicago. The scene where Kevin wades through his neighbor's flooded basement was actually filmed inside the old swimming pool. The stuntmen who got banged up from all the booby traps have said that they had the time of their life on the set of Home Alone, but everyone behind the camera was not having a good time. On set, the film crew was very worried for them and feared for their lives. Home Alone is a funny, wholesome film that the whole family can enjoy together. So without further ado, let's watch it!
And now, our feature presentation.
The movie opens at the McAllister house, where we see them in a hustle where they are packing for a trip to France. We meet our main character, Kevin. It's made very obvious that Kevin's family sees him as the baby bird. The first 10 minutes of the movie is Kevin's family basically being a total dick to him. His older brother Buzz tortures him with a scary story about an old man who lives down the street. Buzz tells Kevin that the old man is a murderer who wasn't charged due to legal technicalities. Downstairs, the family gathers for pizza in the kitchen, while a shiny gold-toothed police officer is there to make sure that their security is top-notch, because there's been a lot of break-ins around the holiday season. Buzz continues to pester Kevin by claiming that he's eaten all the cheese pizza. Enraged, Kevin charges at Buzz, causing a chain reaction that trashes the entire kitchen. Drinks get spilled on the passports and tickets, and while Kevin's dad tries to dry them off, he accidentally throws away Kevin's plane ticket. Foreshadowing. As punishment, Kevin is forced to sleep on the third floor. He tells his mom that he hates them all and he wishes they would all just disappear. Later that night, a storm starts to brew and the power lines are knocked down, which means no one in the family is awake on time when the shuttle arrives to take them to the airport. The family quickly get ready and head out the door to make it to their flight on time. They run through the airport and make it just in time. But they forgot one important thing at home.
Kevin!
Back at home, Kevin awakes to an empty house and thinks that his wish came true and that his family did in fact disappear. At first he feels a little guilty, but then he remembers all the awful things that they said to him.
Kevin, you're completely helpless.
No, Kevin, you're what the French call les incompétents.
Kevin, I'm going to feed you to my tarantula.
Kevin, you are such a disease.
There are 15 people in this house, and you're the only one who has to make trouble.
Look what you did, you little jerk.
It doesn't take long for Kevin to embrace his newfound freedom and stake his claim as man of the house. Eating too much junk food, jumping on the bed, sledding down the stairs, and watching rubbish that'll rot his brain. Just a few of the shenanigans that Kevin gets into. But while on the plane, Kevin's mom's intuition finally kicks in and she realizes she's left her son home alone.
Kevin!
Next, we're introduced to the hilarious villains of the movie, Harry and Marv. Harry was the police officer at the beginning of the movie. He was scoping out houses for them to rob later on. He and Marv are two-bit criminals with plans to rob the whole block of fancy houses, starting with the McAllister house. As they approach the back door, Kevin turns on all the lights to let them know that somebody's home. Harry and Marv run off with plans to come back later. A small child, left home alone, being stalked by criminals? Sounds like a movie plot to me! Meanwhile, the rest of the family land in France. They frantically try to get plane tickets but are unable to due to the holiday season. Kevin's mom decides to wait at the airport to see if she can get a ticket later on, while the rest of the family heads to the hotel. The family phone the police and ask them to go check on Kevin, but he refuses to answer the door after he had ran outside claiming he wasn't afraid anymore, and has a run-in with the old man from Buzz's story. The next day, Kevin describes what his day is going to be like as he mimics his father's routine in the mirror, where we get the iconic Kevin face. After destroying Buzz's room and accidentally setting free his pet tarantula to get some cash off the top shelf, he heads out to get a toothbrush. While he's in the store, the creepy old man comes in behind him. Horrified, Kevin starts to head towards the door. He darts out the door forgetting he hasn't paid for his toothbrush. He's then chased by a police officer, and he's able to escape by sliding on his knees through the skating rink. On his way home, Kevin is almost ran over by Harry and Marv after they've just left their calling card at a robbery.
We're the wet bandits.
Kevin notices Harry's gold tooth and recognizes him as the cop from the day before. Harry and Marv follow Kevin because they could tell something was off. Kevin runs to the church and hides in the manger seat until the thugs drive away. Kevin also recognized their voices from the other night when they were at his back door. He now knows they have plans to rob his house. That night, Kevin builds an elaborate setup to make it appear that there's a Christmas party going on inside of his house as the wet bandits drive by. They drive away to avoid being caught, but they're skeptical because Kevin's mom told Harry that they would be out of the country for vacation. Meanwhile, in France, Kevin's mom is able to trade with the sweet older couple for their plane tickets. She's on her way home to America to get back to Kevin. Kevin has just ordered himself
A lovely cheese pizza just for me.
and he uses the gangster movie to mess with the pizza boy to make him think he's being shot at with a Tommy gun. The pizza boy runs for his life and speeds off from what he thinks is a crime scene. That pizza boy will never deliver to the McAllisters again. Kevin stays up way too late watching Johnny Carson as he looks at a picture of his family. He starts to think that maybe his wish was a mistake, and even they're all a bunch of jerks, he actually misses them. The next morning, Kevin repeats his dad's routine where we see the iconic face again. Everyone was making this face when it came out, to the point where Macaulay Culkin now refuses to do it because of how many times he was forced to do it. They even had the Statue of Liberty do it in an ad for Home Alone 2, and it really freaks me out as a kid. See? Terrifying. After his morning routine, Kevin heads out to the supermarket to grab some essentials. Outside, Harry and Marv are on a stakeout. Marv tries to get in through the doggy door, prompting Kevin to turn on the gangster movie again. Only this time, he drops some firecrackers in a pot, making the gunshots sound even louder. Marv reacts as anyone would and runs back to the van. But this still is not enough to scare them off. They have plans to come back again the next night. Meanwhile, in Scranton, Pennsylvania,
Bears beats Battlestar Galactica.
Kevin's mom has been laid over.
That's what she said!
She's unable to get a direct flight to Chicago, but as luck would have it, she's overheard by the Polka King, played by John Candy. He offers her a ride with the rest of the polka band back to Chicago. Back at home, Kevin cuts down a Christmas tree in the backyard and brings it in to decorate it. Harry and Marv see this and realize they're being scammed by a child. And then Harry says the name of the movie.
He's home alone.
He said the thing. Kevin overhears them say that they're coming back at 9 o'clock, and now that they know that he's home alone, there's no stopping them from getting in. That night, Kevin goes to see Santa and tells him that he doesn't want any gifts this year, he just wants his family back. On his way home, he stops at the church, where a children's choir is performing Christmas songs. Kevin notices that the creepy old man is also in the church, but then he finds out that he's actually a really nice old man. He's there to see his granddaughter sing in the choir because he doesn't get along with his son, so he doesn't get to see her very often. The old man tells Kevin that he thinks it's too late to reconcile, but Kevin tells him that it's never too late, that he should call him. They part ways feeling confident, and Kevin vows to protect his home.
This is my house. I have to defend it.
Next, we see the iconic scene of Kevin setting up the traps to stop Harry and Marv from entering his home. Using household items such as glue, string, paint cans, Christmas ornaments, toy cars, tar, nails, and other things, Kevin arms the house with booby traps and then prepares a macaroni dinner that he never has time to eat. It's 9 o'clock, which means the Wet Bandits will be here any minute to start the best part of the movie.
This is it. Don't get scared now.
Harry and Marv make their way to the back door where they pretend to be Santa Claus and one of his elves. Kevin shoots Harry in the crotch with a BB gun through the doggy door. He then shoots Marv in the forehead after he sticks his head through the doggy door. Both the thugs take a spill down the stairs, and then everybody's favorite part, Marv steps on a nail! Harry burns his hand and his head. And after this, they realize this is no ordinary kid. Marv crushes some ornaments with his bare feet, and then Kevin dresses Harry up like a chicken.
Why the hell you dressed like a chicken?
After taking some paint cans to the face, the Wet Bandits make their way upstairs. They grab a hold of Kevin's foot as he's making his way to the attic. But Buzz's pet tarantula just happens to be crawling by. He grabs the spider and puts it on Marv's face. Using a zip line, Kevin escapes to his treehouse. The Wet Bandits then, very stupidly, decide to climb across the rope to the treehouse, to which then Kevin promptly cuts the line on them, and they swing and they smack into the side of the house. Kevin runs to the neighbor's house to call the police, but the Wet Bandits have beat him there and they pin him up against the wall. Extra fun fact, Joe Pesci accidentally broke one of Macaulay Culkin's fingers when he put it in his mouth because he bit down too hard. It's been said that Joe Pesci didn't really like working with Macaulay Culkin. He didn't like working with a child because he couldn't cuss on set. Which is why you hear a lot of what they call cartoon cursing coming out of his mouth the whole movie.
What? 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 What happened?
With Kevin in their claws, they can finally rid themselves of this nuisance. But surprise attack from behind. The nice old man knocks out the thugs with his shovel and rescues Kevin. The police take the Wet Bandits away as Kevin waves at them from his living room window. Later on, Kevin lays out milk and cookies for Santa. It's Christmas Eve, and all Kevin wants for Christmas is his family back. He awakes the next morning to find that the house is still empty and that the cookies haven't been eaten. Just as Kevin is ready to give up, his mom walks in the front door. They share a hug and everything is forgiven. The rest of the family walks in shortly after. The family is shocked to see Kevin's newfound independence when he tells them about all the things he's done while they were away. Outside, Kevin notices the old man hugging his granddaughter, meaning that he's made up with his son and he's celebrating Christmas with his family. The happy ending is over when Buzz expresses his disdain for Kevin destroying his room.
Kevin! What did you do to my room?
And that's it! That's Home Alone, one of the best Christmas movies ever made. Do I recommend it? I 100% recommend this movie. Even though it's a holiday movie, you can watch it any time of the year. I watch it every year around this time, really makes you feel that holiday nostalgia. This is actually one of my favorite movies. The slapstick comedy still holds up. I still belly laugh every time Harry just stands there and takes a flamethrower to the head. And as a kid, the church scene was always kind of boring to me, but as an adult, I realized that it's actually a really sweet scene about overcoming your fears. Well, that's it for Home Alone. Happy holidays, everybody! And if you haven't already, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe for more videos. Peace, love, and joy to you all.